Hello, and welcome to another challenge build. Are you ready to see the most ghetto casting you've ever seen? I bought a crucible and a couple of ingot molds, and I'm going to try this in a forge. I don't have a propane furnace. I'm going to try casting some aluminum bronze. So one of the very first, if not the very first metalworking project that I ever did was I melted some pennies in a campfire, extracted the zinc cores, and I say cast is a strong word. Cast it in a wooden mold, would not recommend. It bubbled and sputtered like crazy, and ended up with a pretty cool little paperweight, I would say. I'll show a picture of it here. And that was the first thing that kind of got me interested in metalworking. Now that I know more about metals and stuff as a whole, I would like to attempt a step up, if you will. I have some copper here and some aluminum. I will be attempting to combine the two to create aluminum bronze. Now, aluminum bronze is a bronze that is quite tough. It's actually comparable to, I believe, mild steel, but it has the benefits of being extremely corrosion resistant. It doesn't gall as easy as other bronzes and stuff, at least, and it can make good non-sparking tools like hammers and knives, axes, etc. Not gonna hold an edge and stuff as long as like a high carbon steel one would, but it is a very interesting material, and I have wanted to make some bronze for a while. This specific kind of bronze is typically referred to as Nordic gold for its golden coloration, and I believe it was also used as currency. Interesting little history lesson. If you wonder what I'm doing right now, I'm preheating the molds and the crucible so that it can accept the charge more easily. I'm also driving off any liquid that may be in it, because any liquid at all would be quite dangerous. We're gonna get these heated up somewhat and then see how it goes doing this in a forge. Might be lucky to melt it at all, I don't know. We'll start by melting the aluminum first, which will give us a good molten base to stick the copper in, which actually helps the copper melt. All right, I'm gonna begin by putting the aluminum in. Now, aluminum bronze is a ratio of roughly 11% aluminum to 89% copper. I've decided to do about 1,000 grams total, because I feel like that's gonna be fairly conservative. First time casting, seriously, I would say, and first time casting in a forge. So I don't wanna have too much molten liquid in case, something were to occur. Putting this cover on it should be a good way of increasing the temperature. I believe the aluminum was already starting to melt. The outside of the crucible appears to be at roughly a dull red. See if we can see that on camera. Yeah, that helped a lot. It's molten now. White hot. Oh yeah, good deal. I'm gonna start feeding the copper in now. And it's at this point that I'm going to put on extra personal protective gear. So I'm going to have a face shield, apron, coveralls, welding gloves, safety glasses, the whole 9 yards. Alright, so it is slow. It's just, I believe it's because copper has such a high melting temperature. I think it's 2100 degrees Fahrenheit, and aluminum's like about 1200 or so. I'll put the actual numbers here, see how wrong I am. Wow, that was pretty off, wasn't it? I did lift the lid, and the copper is starting to look kind of glassy, so I think it's almost there. We've got some of it that was able to like push down into the crucible a little bit further, so that means that some of it is melting, but what's above it and glassy is probably quite close. So it's sort of faint, but the entire lid is glowing now. I've been surprised by how hot this has to get to actually melt, and how long it takes too. And I've still got more copper that I need to add to the crucible, so that'll cool it down and it'll have to heat back up again. But hopefully with molten copper in it, that process will not take as long. So let's check it and see where we're at, and then we'll make an assessment. Naturally the sun comes out right behind me as I'm trying to do this, but I'll try to give you all a demonstration anyway. Not molten yet. It almost smells like a blueberry muffin mixed with sulfur. It's like the biggest fire I think I've ever made, too. Okay, so what you're looking at is the biggest fire I am going to make. I have piled it up on top, I've piled it around, and we're going to see if this gets it hot enough to melt. If this does not get it hot enough, then I'm considering this a failure, but I'm not going to leave everybody empty-handed. I'll melt aluminum ingots instead. I still have some aluminum. It might just be impossible to do it with my forge anyway. I'm very tenacious, but I'm not destructive. And currently, my forge is on fire, so, like, not where it's supposed to be, but rather, like, places it's not supposed to be. And I don't want to ruin my forge. So, yeah. I'll let this go a little bit longer, and I'm going to try to control this flame, and, yeah, we'll see. Golly. So there's the lid, and the copper is still not melting. Whew, it's burning my shirt. There is liquid down in there, as you can see, but the copper refuses to melt, so at least very much. So I think what we've done is we've gotten almost to the edge of success, but it's just too much heat, as you can tell, for the rest of the forge. So I suppose if I want to make bronze, I will have to get a furnace. Luckily, aluminum melts at a much lower temperature, so we'll try that. Okay, so it's the next day, and the aluminum bronze did not work out, unfortunately. It could not get hot enough, despite setting my forge on fire. So we're going to scrap the copper part of that, I guess, because I don't want the video to be too terribly boring and us not feel like we accomplished anything. So aluminum definitely melts. I've got more than enough aluminum. I've got some in it already in the crucible, and I've got this, and I've got this, so I can add to it as well. So we should be able to have, like, I mean, pretty much a full crucible, or, you know, close to a full crucible. You don't actually want to fill it up all the way. 80% rule of thumb. So we will get to see a pour. We'll get to see hot metal. I'm sorry it wasn't aluminum bronze. I thought surely it would get hot enough, but yeah, color me surprised. I need a furnace for bronze, it would seem. We're gonna get the forge heated up again, and then we'll melt some aluminum. Always remember to preheat your molds. Anytime they've been sitting for, I don't know, even more than a few hours, they might collect moisture on them, and you really don't want moisture in castings. Best case scenario, it could mess up the casting. Worst case scenario, it could basically explode. Always a good practice. gonna say that's probably all that we should put in for now. You can see it there. And it is liquid, so that's a plus. Pro tip, turn off the forge before you try to skim the dross off the top. That way you don't melt your hand and your glove. Okay. Now I've still got some in the crucible, so I'm gonna put this back in here for now. You can see them slowly solidifying. I am surprised by the amount that they contract because it was bubbled up over the top, but then the metal shrinks as it cools down, but it shrinks quite a lot. All right. Ready for the reveal? There we go. Oh, wow. That turned out well. That doesn't have any, like, porosity that I can see. Porosity being air bubbles and stuff that tends to get trapped in castings. That's a pretty nice little ingot of aluminum. See how the smaller one turned out. There we go. Also, very nice. Oh, look at that. Got two little metal loaves. And now these can be remelted down for other projects if I need to. Or kept as is for a neat looking paperweight. So that's good. I'm happy that we were able to finish this project with, you know, something physical besides a mess up. I will say at least that the attempt at aluminum bronze, you know, it was fruitful in the way that it taught us some stuff, but it was also fruitful in the way that it created what I think looks like a slightly interesting looking sculpture. So, I mean, you know, not aluminum bronze, but sort of an interesting aesthetic to it. I don't know. Like a modern art vibe. But this will be my second attempt, I would say, casting. And this will be the third attempt, and the third attempt has gone a lot better. Thankfully. And proof that you don't always get it right the first time, and I mean, what would be the point if you did, I guess. But, yeah. Pretty cool project. Wish the aluminum bronze had worked out, but at least the aluminum worked out. And we got to see some hot metal get poured successfully. Alright, well, if you would like to see more content like this, you can like and subscribe and all that stuff. If you want to be a part of the next challenge build every other month, I let my Power Hammer tier patrons vote in a poll. It might be blacksmithing, it might be woodworking, it might be, you know, an attempt at casting. I try to keep it kind of varied and interesting. Yeah, if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, you can check it out. I'll leave the link in the description below. And if not, then that's fine too. Just appreciate you watching. Alright, I hope y'all have a great day. Wait a minute. Did you guys think I wasn't going to quench these? That'd be pretty boring to let them air dry, right? Well, hopefully that looked neat. Thank you guys for watching.